Welcome to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests. And now, your host and mine, Trevor Devall.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, I put that in because I know that every time the fans listen to the show, they are at home applauding.
Of course.
But because we can't actually hear them applaud, I have to, put the applause in for them.
Who's the lady?
Oh, that's France Paris. France Perra is properly, but if you anglicize her name, it's France Paris.
Wow.
She's quite a sultry, lovely.
Yeah, no kidding. Is she from Gay Paris?
She is from Gay Vancouver. So
I see. Is there any other kind of Vancouver?
Welcome back to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests. I am, of course, and as always, your intrepid host, Trevor Devall. This is episode 11 of our 6-episode series, so we're doing pretty good. This is our first show of 2008. I apologize for the delay. I know I've been saying that we're going to have this episode with Ian Corlett for...
It's my fault.
It's entirely your fault, actually. But, we'll place the blame where it has to go at the appropriate time.
That's fine. I've been ill, and then I went away, and
this and that,
and I like to lie
here.
a lot. I just keep leading Trevor on. Yeah. Hey, that's a great... Sure, I'd love to be on your... Let me out of here. I'm kidding.
But it's true. That's exactly how it's happened. You should see these emails. That
Speaking
we've been going
of
back and forth.
I like the jazzy klezmer music.
Not bad.
I like that.
See,
a lot.
to me, it doesn't say so much. Oi, do you like this music? It's more Parisian to me. But a lot of people hear sort of the Yiddish thing.
Well,
I hear more of a French
it just sounds like good neighborhood New York jazz to me.
Well, that's probably where they stole it from.
Yeah, all right.
Or certainly where I stole it from was from the Apple iTunes Loop library. So
I love stealing.
That's right. It's great when you don't have to pay royalties. Anyway, we are back. This is episode 11, and just to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, that one of the reasons as well, besides Ian not getting back to me, one of the reasons why we haven't had an episode until like the end of February 2008, is because I've been incredibly busy. In fact, this is the busiest I think ever been. So it's
good
been
for you.
It's been a great year so far, working on all kinds of new shows. None of which will actually air for some time. But, lots of stuff, so keep your ears peeled for Trev and the cartoons there, kids. Also, just a quick note, I think a lot of you have already read this on the website, but I'm doing a couple of conventions this year. Don't have a whole lot of time for a lot of them, but I'm going to do one in Toronto in March the 15th, I guess, is the weekend. Me and Brian Dobson are going out to that one. And then I'm doing one in Columbus, Ohio in August, I think. And there might be the occasional one that pops up. But if you're in Toronto or Columbus, Ohio, and you want to come say hi, then by all means do, because I just love to meet you guys in person. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get on with the show. As you all know and have all been expecting and waiting eagerly for... something. This is our 11th episode with our guest, Ian James Corlett. Ian Corlett, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good now. I was frightfully ill last week.
Yes. What was that all about?
Oh, just I don't know, some sort of plague thing that I got from my children. I can't even blame my kids, but I don't know. I just got the thing that everyone's getting.
Well, I had that too, actually. But you know what worked for me was that cold FX.
I know. Well, we were talking about that,
That's right.
and see, because I was talking about it, it struck me down. It went, fine, big shot.
You think you're so immune, huh?
Yeah.
I'll show you. You were also presenting at the Elan Awards on Friday. I understand.
I was.
I would have been there to see that, but I couldn't justify the $250 ticket.
I don't blame you. It's an expensive night, and had I not been presenting, or if I was up for something, I guess maybe I'd have to pony up. But no, that's a big chunk of change. But
Now, what are they exactly? Because this is only the second one.
yes, it's awards for the animation and gaming industry,
Right.
Electronic games, not like gambling. And that's it. They're trying, hard to be, like an Emmy Awards for those two categories.
And it was located in downtown Vancouver this time.
Yes, hosted by none other than
The
Seth
master
MacFarlane,
himself, Seth
yeah.
MacFarlane.
Yeah.
And last year was hosted by
The Shat.
The Shatner. Wow, that's I would have gone this year, with the whole Seth MacFarlane thing. But I'm actually scared to meet him, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I am scared that if I'm talking to him,
you'll slip into his
inadvertently do Stewie, and that would be just like I can't imagine a bigger faux pas than that.
It probably would be weird. I think you're right.
Like how dumb amateur hour.
Yeah.
You seriously.
If you think that that's a distinct possibility, I think you've made the right choice.
There was a lot of people, like David Kay was presenting there.
Yeah.
And I understand that Lee Tokar won some award for like best voice guy ever
for George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Which incidentally, I just caught the other day, and that show is laugh out loud funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I watched it when I was away with my son last weekend because I couldn't be here. No, was it last weekend?
Last weekend when you were in Seattle.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Weekend. Yeah. So anyway,
One
weekend
of
and a
those
half
weekends
ago.
that you had to cancel on me.
Exactly.
One of the many.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I watched it down there because it's on Cartoon Network, and that's what we do when we're away. We watch cartoons. What else would you do?
Yes, exactly.
But it's a very good show. It's very well done.
It is. And I had never seen. I'm on the show, but I'd never actually seen it before.
Who are you on that?
I'm a bunch of different like incidental. In fact, I only did like 4 episodes, but I'm part of the credited actors at the end. So I'm
that's nice.
very pleased about that. But I watched, and it was seriously laugh out loud funny. It's so nice when you're involved in a show that is actually good.
Yep.
Actually something you want to see. Cool. So the Elan Awards went off flawlessly without a technical glitch at all, I understand.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I'm sticking to it.
I like getting invited back.
Well, then we better just cease and desist from the conversation.
You can't
with the
goad me into that, mister.
All right, let's get on with this. Let's take a look at your professional history.
And now, Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests presents In Memoriam, a history of our guests' long and faithful service to the cause of voice acting.
As my faithful listeners know, I take my information off of the illustrious Internet Movie Database.
Oh, good.
Which, I'm sad to say, often gets things way off.
Yeah,
like
there's
way
one.
wrong.
There's one or two beauties in there.
Well, we're gonna share them together.
Okay.
The first one we have here.
First of all,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight here.
Okay.
But in memoriam, does that mean I'm dead?
You and Scotty are the only two that have actually picked up on that. But it's in no way it
I'm glad I'm in such great company as Scotty McNeil. Could we do an interview together?
I don't know.
And then I could just sit here and be quiet. And I mean that with love.
Of course.
I'm just inherently lazy.
Yes, in memoriam.
Yes.
It's a funny little thing that is only funny to me, apparently.
Okay.
But Johnny Test is the first one we have listed here. Johnny Test, and you were the dad on that.
I was the dad. Johnny?
There he is. And
Yeah.
that's another laugh out loud funny show.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, quite like that. In fact, at the Elan Awards, didn't Mareka win
She did.
for her performance in Johnny Test?
Yes.
Yes. As
She's so nice.
the daughter. She isn't. She's very, very nice.
I don't know what's the matter with her.
She claims to have no sense of humor, and that's just completely wrong.
No,
She claims that. I'm going to get her on the show, and we'll see.
And I met her boyfriend,
Yes.
who is named Ian. So
Yes.
we were instant best friends.
Naturally.
And he's awfully nice too. So I don't get it. Sorry.
There's another one here, which I think is wrong. Care Bears.
Yes.
You do the Care Bears.
Yes.
But you are who on the Care Bears?
Funshine.
Funshine. Exactly.
What does it say? Moonshine?
That was-
Either that or up in the hills, we like to make the moon shine. Sorry.
No, that would be a funny mistake, but no. They've actually listed you as Scott's character.
Grumpy?
As Grumpy, yeah. They've got you down as... I saw this and I thought, no.
The excrement's going to hit the fan.
I think it is. But you know what? They're pretty good about this on IMDb because I think somebody listens to the show because I was bitching and complaining about how... Oh, yeah. I was complaining about how this is a long time ago. This is a running thing with me about how they gave Mike Dobson the credit for my character of Pyro in X-Men. And right away, there was a change suddenly on IMDb. So maybe you folks at IMDb, if you're listening, you change that now. You change that now, you hear? Mr. Ian, he was not grumpy.
Yeah, I'll be really upset. You don't want to see me mad. Have you ever seen me mad?
No, I've never seen you anything other than just largely apathetic.
Pretty much. I grew into this. I wanted to be this way since I was about 18. And I felt that maturity would give me the ability to just be kind of semi-curmudgeonly.
Well, you got that down.
Thank you.
You've succeeded.
Thank you.
Obviously, oddball on Being Ian.
Yes.
A show very close to your heart. But we're going to come back. We're going to talk a lot about Being Ian.
All right.
Because I have some questions about that show. So moving right along. You did some work for Ricky Sprocket.
Yes.
Who were you on Ricky Sprocket?
Oh, good one. I can't remember.
It's not listed here, which is odd.
I can't remember.
Oh, it says you were Grumpy Bear on Ricky Sprocket. How odd. No. All kinds of stuff. And I got to tell you, some of this stuff I don't even recognize. But you must. Camp Laszlo?
I believe that is one of the ones that is wrong.
Okay. So is there another Ian Corlett out there?
No.
There isn't?
No.
Okay.
I was, as a matter of fact, I was so proud. The other night, my son wanted me to, and actually it was my daughter, that wanted to search their names on the internet. So we did the little, name search, which is what I think everyone does.
Of course.
Just to see what's out there.
Right.
And we came across this coat of arms site, and the Corlett family name is from the Isle of Man in the British Isles. And we looked at the site, and listed there after the family history was famous Corletts. And I was the first one.
Wow.
I thought that was really cool.
That is very cool.
So, I mean, it's not a very common name, and there is most certainly not another voice actor named Ian Corlett.
So the question then is begged. Who's screwing up that badly?
No idea. There's another good one in there, too.
Okay, we'll see if we find it. Alien Racers. I know that's not a mistake because that's a show you and I did together.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That was fun. Scratch, you were the skull-headed guy on that.
I like playing those guys.
He was kind of high-pitched. He was kind of crazy guy. Do you remember what he sounded like?
Yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, you lose it. I can cough right on cue now. But he sounded like that. He was like just evil.
I remember that. It made it to air, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Saw it on TV. But you told us a story.
Yeah.
When we were recording, I think it was like the 5th episode.
Something like that.
And you had just come back from L.A.
Yeah.
And
so
go on.
Well, I'm in Walmart, I believe, or Target. No, it was Walmart because I had a really uncomfortable feeling. And when I'm in Target, I feel fairly comfortable. I hope someone's listening. Maybe they'll send me a gift certificate or a lawsuit, depending on who's responding. But anyway, I'm in there in the toy department and looking at stuff, and I see this this Scratch toy, and it was really cool. The big skull, and it was part of a car, and it was huge, and it had things that lit up and moved and stuff, and it was in the bargain bin it was either $12.99 or $18.99 from like 40 something.
Wow.
And we were still in production on the show, and I thought
early in production on the show.
Yeah, something has happened here with the timing of the marketing department, and I couldn't. I've tried to. It's kind of a hobby of mine to, be interested in the business side of all of these things. And I thought, how did that happen? Was it a toy line before it was a cartoon, or was it a cartoon and then they did? And that's my only guess, is that they must have built the toys way before
Yeah.
the show was ready.
Well, that's fairly common, though.
Or independent of the show.
Right.
You know?
But it is fairly common, though, isn't it, for them to come up with a toy line and then create a cartoon to help sell the product line?
Yeah.
I just had this funny feeling that may be more along the lines of what they were trying to do with this, because it's a show about cars, race cars, and aliens, and it seems like something maybe you'd want to bring up before the Christmas rush. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Yeah, it just didn't...
But it was very bad for morale. You came in there.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know that. I thought it was kind of just funny. And
No,
because I was mad, mostly because I didn't buy it.
Right.
Because I said, I'll find another one.
They're going to be huge.
Yeah.
Show's going to take off.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Didn't we do 2 seasons of that, though?
No. We just did the one.
Oh.
26 episodes.
All right.
But I did see it on TV. I saw it a couple times.
I thought it looked good.
Yeah, it was neat. Sort of a funky little look to it. All kinds of stuff in here. Way too many to go over because it goes on 10 pages.
Thank you.
You've been in the business forever.
Thank you.
Justice League. Were you in Justice League?
I was.
Playing Sarge.
Sure.
Okay. Now, don't they record that in Los Angeles?
Yes, they do.
And you went down to Los Angeles
Yes.
to be part of this. Now, how did that happen? Do you have an LA connection there?
I do. I have representation in Los Angeles. The marvelous and talented young Andrew Atkin at the William Morris Agency.
The prestigious William Morris
Yes.
Agency.
Which reminds me of that great Woody Allen joke. Instead of putting someone in the witness protection program, instead I'll just sign up with William Morris. Sorry. But Andrew does not fall into that category. He's a great guy, really good guy. But this predates my association with William Morris. This is a show when I had another agent down there a few years ago. And it really had nothing to do with the agent either. Why am I bringing up the agent? I have no idea.
I'm not entirely sure.
Just because I like yammering.
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
A very good friend of mine, who is a voice director, her name is Andrea Romano.
Yes, of course.
And she is amongst the best.
Yes.
And at the risk of, alienating or offending anyone else who is a voice director, I'd say she probably is the best. We ended up being friends, and when I go down there, I grovel and knock at her door and go, "You got anything for the?" Give me. I literally refer to it as table scraps, and if it is within her power, she will throw me a table scrap, and I am so grateful for it because it is really fun. There is a really different feeling, and I won't say that one's better than the other, but this working in LA is just different than working in Vancouver, and it's different than working in Toronto. And I've done all of those, and it's just a really neat experience.
I would like to have that experience myself one day. Perhaps.
I think you will.
If I follow in your illustrious footsteps.
Yeah.
Because it's a big show, Justice League. And especially these days, there's lots of really... And my buddy Nathan is one of the... Nathan Fillion, he's one of the characters on the show. The guy from Firefly.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew him from Edmonton. I
Oh,
directed
neat.
him. Yeah, back in Edmonton. Gadget and the Gadgetinis.
Don't remember.
Okay.
It's okay to be honest, right?
No, without question.
Okay.
I'll just cut out the stuff that doesn't play.
Sure.
Yakety Yak.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's one of my favorite characters ever, actually.
Mr. High Pants.
Mr. High Pants, yes. Because he could refer to the other character whose name was Lemony, but he always said Lemony, and I enjoyed it. And I'd like to claim a little bit of Paul Lind, because I'd like to say that before everyone started running around doing Paul Lind, I really wanted to do, in that way, not in that, you understand, I'd like to do Paul Lind. And that was something I felt really good about, because I thought, Paul Lind is such a great character, and I have not heard anyone do him sort of in a cartoon, and they went for it. And there was much discussion about it too, because he's a little light in the loafers.
Yes, he's very yeah.
But anyway, he was yakety and lemony.
Is it true that you were Baby Taz?
Oh,
on
yeah.
Baby Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that was.
And again, that's one of those classic shows. I mean, like we probably both of us grew up with the whole Bugs Bunny thing,
Right.
So to be able to go in and do the baby version of what was that like?
Fun. Or do you want to hear the voice?
No. Actually,
okay. Good.
I was. We don't waste time doing voices
Good.
on this
Oh,
show. I mean,
good.
come on, really.
Good.
Nobody wants to hear that. Come on.
That's kind of Baby
That's
Taz.
kind of him. Yeah.
And it was fun. We did a lot of them, which for me is even more fun.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of things. I like to do a lot of them. I would. No, I'm not even going to say that. No, I will. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'd say I'd much rather do 56 episodes of something that was kind of just okay than 13 of something that was marvelous.
I couldn't agree more.
It's really nice to do shows that are good, but you gotta pay the bills.
That's right. And 50, 52, or 56 episodes, that pays a few bills.
Yes.
Yeah, it certainly does in the prelay world. This is one you're known for. Big time reboot.
Oh yeah.
Reboot. Glitch Bob.
Yeah, I was Bob after he got chewed up in the machine.
Yeah. Now I don't know the show. I've never seen the show. I know it's sort of a institutional show, because it was one of the first big CG shows.
It was, as far as I know, it was the first CG animated series. I don't know.
I've heard that too. I have heard that too.
I don't like to go out on a limb, but I know that the guys who produced it did in fact do the first CG music video.
Right.
Absolutely, without doubt.
Right.
It was these English guys that did the Dire Straits video.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing, yeah, with the big blocky
That's right.
CG man.
That's right.
And they decided to do a TV show, and it was like all the rage, and it was ABC, and there was a lot of money.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So I would wager to say that it was the first computer-generated animated show.
See, you are part of animation history by being part of that
I guess
show.
so. Sure.
That's something. What? Dragon Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Not Dragon Ball Z.
No, the original.
But the original Dragon Ball.
That's a good one.
Boss Rabbit is what they have here, but it only says one episode. You must
Boss
have done
Rabbit for Dragon Ball?
Mm-hmm.
No, I was like the main guy.
Okay.
What is that? Goku?
That's Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is
no,
Goku.
but Goku was in Dragon Ball
yeah,
too.
they have that listed elsewhere. There it is. Dragon Ball Z Goku. Yes, there.
It was the same guy through Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and that's a really interesting story as well, because speaking of history,
Mm-hmm.
the partner that I was working with at the time, Terry Klassen,
Mm-hmm.
we were writing and producing radio for advertising, and part of what I was doing in the business was writing for animation. And BLT Productions had contacted or this other producer, which ultimately was called Funimation, which all your fans will know about.
Yes.
Came up here, and it was the funniest thing. It was these two guys from Dallas, and they looked like button-down Brooks Brothers style bankers. And they said, we want to do this animated series here, and we got all this Japanese stuff, pretty big over there, and we want to understand you reversion it or something. They weren't that dumb,
but it makes for a better story.
It does. But basically, they had not done it, and we had a considerable experience, reversioning these things for a little while. And Terry and I were the first writers of the series, and I think we even got credited at some point as producers, I think.
I think you did. Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's listed on the IMDb, and I saw that and thought, really?
Yeah, so Terry was
Produced?
directing and doing some voices, and I ended up doing the main voice.
Now,
and a
what
bunch
did
of
he
the writing.
sound like? Because that's a famous character. in a
Sounded
famous
just
show.
like me.
Just like
Seriously. I mean, I might as well be doing them right now, except I'm far more eloquent than Goku. But
You don't have to do a 5-minute yell, a 5-minute battle.
oh
yell,
yeah,
for
it's like,
example.
no, and that's why I stopped. I just got really tired of that, because at the time we wouldn't be paid for yelling.
That's right, because it wasn't considered a line.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it wasn't considered by some people to be a line. The people who were
Shall
supposed to
remain
pay.
nameless, yes.
The union considered it a line. But it was basically, well, if you want to fight us, we might fight you back, and you can fight some more, and maybe we'll pay you. And I kind of went, I think I'm tired of this.
Let me ask you this. When you embarked upon doing this show, when they approached you, did you have any idea that it would turn out to be as
No
huge
idea.
with the fans?
No idea at all. As a matter of fact, this is, if we were doing this live somewhere, I'd probably get an arrow through my head. But I thought, this is the silliest thing I've ever done in my life. And then I realized how popular the thing was. Even by the time I was leaving it, I was starting to get this inkling of, wow, people love this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And sadly, that's one of those moments where I just was not plugged into to the system.
Right. The pulse.
And that's fine. So I've been wrong once or twice, and anime was just one of those things. And maybe that's why I don't get invited to the conventions.
Because you gave up on Goku,
I don't know. I don't know.
You're a quitter.
I didn't mean to hurt anyone, because I still get people writing me on my website that say, you were Goku.
Yeah.
You were the guy. And it's like comparing James Bonds to these folks.
Oh, without question. And the people you're speaking to right now.
Yeah.
These are the
I know
folks.
I know
Yeah.
that, and I like genuinely appreciate it. I'm just I don't even know how to respond to it, because I'm a bit stupid when it comes to this. So, don't misinterpret don't misinterpret anything I'm saying as insulting. I just don't get it, and I can be stupid.
I suffer from the same problem, sort of mass blatant stupidity. I really do.
When we similar kind of thing. We haven't gotten there. Or maybe you skipped over it.
Which?
I don't know. Beast Wars.
We're getting to that, but
I'm sorry.
it's sort of the next one on the list. So.
Okay. Well, connected to that, the one convention that I got invited to was the big Transformers thing, and this was I don't know, about 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my traveling companions were fantastic. It was Venus Terzo and Alec Willows.
Oh yeah.
So the three of us, we were like the Three Musketeers, because we were all kind of like-minded. It was, we were all, like, to a man, woman, impressed by this whole thing. It was just unbelievable. I felt like a movie star for one weekend, because it was all in the Fort Wayne, Indiana Hilton. And the whole place was full of fans. They were there for this convention.
Right.
Period.
And specifically Transformer fans.
Specifically, this was not like a big anime thing. It was and everyone knew who I was. So you're walking around going, I guess this is how Stallone feels, or like a real movie star, like just all the time. Hi, hey, hiya,
right.
hello. And
I
thought,
guess this is how Heath Ledger feels.
Too soon. Actually, Seth MacFarlane had a Heath Ledger joke, and he did the same thing. Too soon. And everyone was moaning and groaning. Oh, come on, please. Anyway, so it was a real neat experience. But we were on a panel, and we're talking to the fans, and they're asking questions about specific episodes, and I was looking and going, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. And then I didn't get invited again. I don't think I was rude.
No, you were just a bad guest.
Maybe.
But being a bad guest has nothing to do with you personally.
Yes,
or
it
you
does.
being well, yeah, it does. But you know what? When I started doing conventions, I was afraid too. I was afraid that, well, wait a minute, I don't even watch these shows. I don't know what's going on in the shows. People say, well, in episode 26.
And are you not a bad guest then?
Well, I'm funny though. You're probably not very funny. You're not a very funny guy.
Wow.
So I
that
can,
really hurts.
But you know what though? What's nice is that these days, I mean, you were doing that. I mean, that's a huge show, but these days, a lot of the fans, they understand that this is just a job for us.
Yes.
And that while we love the job, a lot of the time we don't really know all the details.
I'd like
what's
to go on
happening.
record as saying to all the fans out there, all 6 of you. No, I'm not. That was more of a dig to Trevor, folks, not you guys. But I would like to go on record. I'm gonna start. I'm moving into the Trevor material soon here.
Uh-oh.
I would like to say that if you want to see me at a convention, I would be happy to come. Get the right people to contact me on my website, and I'll show up.
All right. Well, the challenge has been issued. The gauntlet has been thrown down. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that website address from you so that I can post it on my website. And seriously, I would love to see this man at a con. So you kids out there, you get on that.
Sure.
And you get him invited, because I will show up anywhere that this guy's gonna be at just to watch.
I'll
to see
dress
what
up.
happens.
I'll give me an outfit. I'll dress up and walk around.
Oh, that's grand. So, speaking of, once more, Transformers Beast Wars, this is a huge show, obviously.
Yes.
Who did you were Cheetor
Yes.
in that. Now, I've never seen the show. So-
Wow. Yeah, I'm a bad guest. Is there a category for bad host? Wow. He likes to pitch him, but man, oh man.
No, but
I will say this about Trevor. He's very modest, because he lives in what is basically the heart of Chinatown. And he walking in and out of his building every single day, he must be surrounded by people going in and out of the market. They go to the M&M market and they say, "Hello, Mr. Trevor Devall, how are you? You are a nice boy. You live upstairs. Everything is, this is a nice place. Ooh, do you live in a condo? Ooh, nice. And he drives a Honda too. That's a good boy." And he says that he comes to me basically on bended knee. He says, "Sir," like as if I'm some sage, that I'm pretty good with accents, and he is, and I can't seem to get a handle on doing an Asian Chinese accent. And I thought, well, he's lying. Because for me it come very natural. And I do not live in the Trevor Devall neighborhood. I live in a place where there is not a lot of Chinese people. But here, there are many. And he just need to open his door, look outside, and say, "Hello, Chinese people. I want to speak like you." Anyway. And then he did it, and I realized, no, he needs to work on it a little bit.
He really does not know how to do it.
But that
It's all true.
I'm saying this because it goes to character, Your Honor, and he is a humble man.
Oh, well, I'm the most humble guy I know. Everything he said is true, except for the part about bended knee.
No, that's true. He wasn't on bended knee.
But you know what? Actually, Brian Drummond gave me a nice little phrase to use, which seems to help.
Yes.
And that's the phrase is $35 for the Peking duck, and then Tabitha, she adds on or sweet and sour pork, but $35 for the Peking duck, sweet and sour pork. So that's as close as I can
that's
get.
good. That's
it's getting a little better.
Those are good words.
I had this woman the other night. Actually, I was at this party, and we were driving, and we passed by the TNT Chinese market. And I started to talk like what I have learned from you, which is not very good. And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, that's Korean."
Oh, man. And you open the door and boom!
You're out, lady.
Oh, all these kind of things, all these shows. Look at this. There's Sonic Underground. What is Sonic Underground?
I guess that was a sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog, yes.
Which I was in as well.
Yes. And NASCAR Racers.
Ah, yeah.
Mark Charger McCutcheon.
That's right.
That's a voice I hear when I see that name.
Charger McCutcheon. Yeah, he sounds just like that. and he had, I forgot his catchphrase. Oh, no. I'll get kicked out of the Charger McCutcheon fan club. Shoot.
Don't be surprised.
It's like,
man.
light him up or something. Let's get busy, or let's go light him up, or let's NASCAR go. I can't remember. I'm making it up and it's not working.
Sabrina the Animated Series, apparently. The Mighty Kong.
Oh, yeah.
What is this? Mummies Alive, The Legend Begins.
Oh, Mummies Alive. That was good. That was a decent show.
RoboCop Alpha Commando, Pocket Dragon Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
Reboot the Ride. Dragon Ball Z Goku, of course. Warriors of Virtue, The Wacky World of Tex Avery.
That was fun.
This is a show that a lot of guys have talked about being a lot of fun to do.
Yep.
What else? It just goes on and on. Key, the Metal Idol.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, that's where I think I was going to pull your clip from. But to be honest, I didn't even know if it was you. I was listening to it going, did they get that right?
Well,
Either they screwed up or Corlett's a much better actor than I'm giving him credit for.
I surprise people all the time.
What do we have here? Black Beauty?
Sure.
Did you do a cartoon version of Black Beauty at some point?
No, I think I just did Black Beauty. I did a Black Duty. Sometimes after you have Pepto-Bismol.
That's true. That's the Black... All right.
Sorry.
Maybe on another show. The Jungle Book.
Okay. You found it. Do the math. What does it say, 1967 or 66?
That's fascinating to me that they would make that leap.
And I believe, like, years ago, at least 5 years ago, I sent a note to someone. I'm not sure how IMDb works, but...
Not very well.
I remember I went through the process, and please, I couldn't... I would have liked to have been in Jungle Book, but I'm pretty sure I know how it... how the mistake was made, because we did do a version of the Jungle Book, because it's not specifically owned by Disney,
right?
It's Rudyard Kipling.
Rudyard Kipling, yeah.
And there was another animated series floating around, and we I think it might have even been Russian or something. Anyway, we reversioned it, and I was Mowgli.
You were Mowgli.
So
in the Russian jungle.
Yeah, exactly. More pierogies, please. Don't want banana. Give vodka. That was our Mowgli.
The jungle is very lush here in Siberia. Oh, man, the list seriously goes on and on. Mega Man, G.I. Joe Extreme, Hercules, a lot of Hercules, Pocahontas. Pocahontas, it says you were in. As in the Disney Pocahontas? Is that possible?
No idea. What year was that?
It says you were the Indian. Oh, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say that.
I was not Indian.
Cinderella. It's saying that you are in all of these big Disney shows. Weird.
Lies.
The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Madeline, Double Dragon, Ranma 1/2. These are all shows that would be familiar to our fans here. Captain N and the new Super Mario World.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones.
Dr. Wily.
Yes, I was Dr. Wily. He always squeezed like that.
I can't even do it today because I'm all congested.
This is Battletoads. You were in Battletoads.
You know Battletoads?
I know Battletoads.
Oh,
I
wow.
do. Because it was based on a video game.
Ah, you're right.
That I played extensively in a drunken stupor in high school.
You were drunk in high school?
Oh, I've been drunk since I was out of diapers.
Devil.
Great game. I assume it was a good show.
It had to have been.
Snow White, look at this. Oh, Sugar and Spice Snow White. This is some other version. Apparently you did a 91.
Was that like
Mirror.
Some adult title? No, I'm pretty sure I remember that.
So many here, and lots of repeating ones here. So, Yvonne of the Yukon, Being Ian, these are big shows.
Yes.
Because you had a hand in creating them.
Yes.
A hand, I will say. You did create them, at least being Ian. Was,
Yvonne I co-created.
Now, was that with Terry?
Yes.
Okay. I never really did figure out exactly what the situation was. But that's the stuff that I want to talk about with you.
Okay.
With you,
okay.
Ian Corlett.
Okay.
I would like to discuss
Sure.
the creation of these shows and everything that goes into how to get an animated show off the ground. And we're going to talk about that after we come back from this short break.
We interrupt this eargasmic cornucopia of pure audio wind to shamelessly promote another podcast. No! The Big Bald Broadcast.
But what makes it big and bald?
The Big Ball Broadcast brings you news on all things geeky, movies, gadgets, games, cartoons, and anime, and other random fandom.
You're fired.
I'm fired.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.
But what makes it big and bald?
It's hosted by big, bald anime and video game voice actor Kyle Hebert and his co-host, musician and upcoming author, Otherworld Steve.
Oh, you must smell like feet wrapped in leathery burnt bacon.
Subscribe via iTunes or visit thebigballbroadcast.blogspot.com.
That was totally wicked!
So we're going to do something a little different this time around. Instead of a funky little phony commercial that I just, delight in making, we're going to do something else this time. I've been threatening now for a while to sort of play some of the music that I've been recording over the past year. So I'm going to do that. This is a little taste of what we're doing. This is a song called "The Witch of the Westmoreland." It's by R.G. Fisher, and it was covered by Stan Rogers. That's probably the version that most people know if they know the song. It's an old sort of Irish folktale kind of thing. It's pretty cool, and this is me doing the guitars and the lead vocals, and this is my a good friend and colleague Alison Jenkins, who is providing the backup vocals, the accordion, and the whistles. It's pretty cool. Have a listen, and if you like it, maybe there'll be more. But here it is. This is The Witch of the Westmoreland. Pale was the wounded knight that bore the rowing shield. Loud and cruel were the ravens' cries that feasted on the field, saying, "Beg a water cold and clear, we'll never clean your wound. There's none but the witch of the Westmoreland can make thee hail and sound. So turn your stallion's head till his mane flies in the wind, and the rider of the moon goes by, and the bright star falls behind. And clear was the pale moon when his shadow passed him by. Below the hills were the brightest stars when he heard the owlet cry, saying, "Why do you ride this way, and wherefore came you here? I seek the witch of the Westmoreland who dwells by the winding mere." Hip! And it's weary by the Eel's water and the misty Breakfern way, till through the cleft of the Kirkstone Pass the winding water lay. He said, "Lie down, my brindle hound, and rest ye, my good grey hawk, and thee, my steed, may graze thy fill, for I must dismount and walk. But come when ye hear my horn, and answer swift the call, for I fear as the sun will rise this morn, ye will serve me best of all." And it's down to the water's brim he's borne the rowing shield, and the golden rod he has cast in to see what the lake might yield. And wet rose she from the lake, and fast and fleet went she, one half the form of a maiden fair, with a jet black mare's body. Hip! and loud, long, and shrill he blew, till his steed was by his side. High overhead the grey hawk flew, and swiftly he did ride. Said, course well, my brindled hound, and fetch me the jet black mare. Stoop and strike, my good grey hawk, and bring me the maiden fair. She said, pray sheathe thy silvery sword, lay down thy rowan shield, for I see by the briny blood that flows you've been wounded in the field. And she stood in a gown of velvet blue, bound round with a silver chain, and she kissed his pale lips once and twice, and 3 times round again. And she's bound his wounds with a golden rod, full fast in her arms he lay, and he has risen hale and sound, sun high in the day. She said, ride with your brindled hound at heel, and your good grey hawk in hand. There's none can harm the knight who's slain with the witch of the Westmoreland. Ah!
You're listening to Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests.
And we're back with Mr. Ian Corlett.
Phew. Boy, I'll tell you guys, listening to Trevor's songs is it really takes it out of you, because he makes you put on the sailor suit. And here I am cease chanting all over the place, and I am just a little out of breath. And I hope. Anyway,
I didn't take that into consideration that you might be out of breath after what you had to endure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, folks. I didn't think about it. I didn't think you'd be so exhausted.
I thought you were from a landlocked country.
I am from a landlocked province called Alberta.
Yes, and how did you get this love for the sea?
It's strange, really. It's strange. Growing up, I knew a lot of Newfoundlanders, I suppose. That's the reason why the music should come down to me like this, right?
Okay.
But, you know, the mother's side is Irish, and I grew up with all of that kind of music, and it just all kind of happened. But a lot of people now think that I'm from Newfoundland.
Well, because of your play, right?
Yes, because of the play, yes. And for those of you who don't know, I wrote this play called The Back Kitchen Release Party, which is about this Newfie band that has to go across the country and play a wake in Vancouver, and it's been very successful, and we've won awards and stuff, and it's part of the Arts Club's season this summer, actually. We're going to do an 8-week run on Granville Island as part of their actual theater season, so that's kind of cool. But, the music's been very inspiring to me, and it's nice. We recorded that right here, right in that very closet you're in right now.
That's why it smells salty.
Yardy, yardy, yar. I want to talk to you a little bit about the process of how a show gets made, because in addition to being one of the finest voice actors there is, also you are a producer and a creator, and among the shows that you've produced and created are Yvonne of the Yukon and Being Ian, which is now doing very well. You guys are in like your 3rd season or something.
Well, it's funny how they count these seasons. I just go by episodes,
right?
And I think we've done 53 episodes.
That's awesome.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So how does it happen then? How does a just a nice Canadian boy like yourself go from being, some guy to the creator of a successful cartoon on television?
Well, Trevor, I'll tell you. I don't know. Actually, I brought you a gift. You've seen me twiddling this thing.
I have. You've been twiddling with something in there.
Yes,
I'm not sure if I want to get too close.
It's a little poster
from
the show, from Being Ian.
Well, look at that.
And I thought,
Being Ian, hurry for Hollywood. And look at this. This is a YTV poster. This is great.
Yes, so that was a special movie that we did, which basically means we string together a couple of episodes and make it a multi-parter, but it's semi-movie length.
Wow.
And it was actually, that was supposed to be our final episode, but we had a little bit of a cliffhanger. We just thought, after 52 episodes, we figured that was it. Actually, I tell a lie. We did 52 episodes. We've done 63 episodes.
Wow.
Because that was the end of 52, was Hurry for Hollywood.
Wow.
And they keep coming back and asking for a little more.
Wow. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're going to sign that, and I'm going to frame it and put it on the studio wall.
Okay.
That's going to be awesome.
That's a deal. So anyway, back to your question. It's a very, very long story. But I'll give you the brief history of me. When I was a kid, I was a filmmaker. That was my hobby. And this was way before video.
Right.
Like, it was...
Super 8 stuff.
Well, actually, I started on regular 8.
Oh, wow.
Which was the 8 millimeter with the really big sprocket holes.
Right.
It was basically 16...
They literally took 16 and cut it in half.
And they cut it in half,
Right.
which was a phenomenal idea, I guess, probably in the 40s when they came up with it. And they went, hey, you know what? And everything...
Hey, you know what? It's a great idea. That's right. I'm telling you, it's a great idea.
Slice it down the middle, and you can walk around with a camera in your pocket, practically. So anyway, my dad was very much into documenting with home movies, as lots of people were back in those years. Of course, by the time I came around, I was the third of 3 boys, and I would scour the film reels for like a couple of frames of me. Because, the novelty had completely worn off by the time I came around. Yeah. I don't want to take another film of this stupid kid. There's 2 of them crawling all over me. What am I going to do? Anyway, so I guess maybe that was part of what got me interested in movies. It was around, and I liked it, and I've really enjoyed it. So I made little plasticine animated movies in my bedroom, rudimentary kind of stop-motion animation. Then I moved up to Super 8. Then I got a Super 8 sound camera. And I was really into making films, and I entered contests and won them, and ultimately ended up winning the most promising filmmaker in BC.
Wow.
At the BC Student Film Festival. Wow. Yeah. Which was actually a pretty big deal because I was in grade 12, and generally the person that wins most promising filmmaker is the university entry.
Right.
And they have a budget, and they've shot it on 16 millimeter, and they're never comedies.
Right.
And here I was just making these stupid comedies. Some of them were animated, some of them were live action, but they were all weird. Every single one of them was weird. And I think they must have just said, well, this guy, he wins by volume alone, because I would enter like multiple films every year. And they probably knew that I wasn't very scholastically inclined and wasn't going to university. So we'll give him the award now because he's not going anywhere. Anyway, so I won the award. I tell a lie because I was offered a scholarship at SFU, which was the big film school, and went up there and got the shakes because I went, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can go to school anymore. I wanted a job. So I set all that aside. Most promising filmmaker in BC, never made another movie, right? So shows you how promising it was. But I always had, this side of me that I wanted to do something creative. And at that time, Vancouver was really well known, like in North America, as a center for comedy voiceover in radio. For commercials. Right. There was a couple of companies, a very good friend of mine, Hoot Gibson, who's ailing right now, and best wishes to Hoot and his family. He's in the hospital right now, but he's getting better. Anyway, he started a company called Griffiths Gibson, which then became Griffiths Gibson and Ramsey, which is still a major commercial producer. Anyway, they kind of put Vancouver on the map. These 2 guys wrote songs, and then they sort of morphed into like doing this comedy thing. And there was about 4 or 5 people that did all the voices for these commercials, and they were high quality. And I remember them growing up. I went, I know that guy. And Bill Ryder, I know him. He's in Captain Bundolo Dr. Bundolo, Captain Bundolo. I'm confusing it with Captain Beefheart, which is a whole other topic. Anyway, so I recognize these guys. And I am working at the family music store, and I'm going, I think I want to do something else. I can do voices, which is one of the reasons why I can do such a great Asian accent, because we had a piano store. And you can guess who like 70% of our customers were. It was Mr. Chang and Mr. Kwong and Mrs. Pak, and So anyway, so we would get home after working, And we would, sort of swap stories about, what happened at the store and, this funny guy and that funny guy. And we had a funny piano tuner from Holland that my dad took in sort of as a charity case. He had no working papers at all. And his name was Sven Bosch. And he was a piano tuner that would tune the pianos. And then he was a great piano player. And he'd play the piano. And then he would go... Except he did it 50 times better than me. It sounded like a cornet. It was so perfect. Anyway, so this was our life, and we would kind of trade voices and stories and gags and stuff. And I knew I could do voices, so I started knocking on the door of companies like GGRP, Griffiths Gibson, and the other voiceover production companies. Then I eventually started getting hired as like the character guy, but things were changing in the advertising world, and I started to get more work because it was right at the time where the big announcers were starting to fade, and they wanted people that sounded normal.
Right.
So I was at the right place at the right time, because suddenly they started calling me and they went, okay, we want you to do the announcer part. And I went, what? I'm supposed to be like the funny voice guy. And anyway, so I ended up doing that, blah, blah, blah. Then, fast forward another few years, and it's sort of mid-'80s now, and animation starts coming to Vancouver. The contracts, the union contracts are very favorable in Canada. Some stuff was happening in Toronto, and it was just beginning to happen in Vancouver. So as a result, the person who was really at the forefront of that, who was Josanne Lovick of BLT Productions, who I owe I'm in incredible gratitude for her for what she did, because she was absolutely no question, no matter what anyone else says, she single-handedly brought the animation industry to Vancouver.
Wow.
And we should all thank her, frankly, because before her, there was none, period.
Well, a big shout-out to her, then.
Yes, and I mean that very, very, very sincerely. Anyway, so the work started coming to Vancouver, and it turned out that there was some people around that could do it, and we got more work, and we got better, and, la, 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 la.
Back in those days, that was like you and Scott and Gary Chalk. And
right at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Dale Wilson was another early guy. He's still working, a really funny guy. And Phil Hayes, of course.
Right.
He was actually part of sort of the second wave, believe it or not, even though he's one of the institutions around here. But so I'm reading all these scripts, and I'm doing lots of animation. I'm thinking, I can write this stuff. And my cunning plan was, I had a very distinct plan. If I wrote the scripts, it would give me credibility to ultimately create programs. So I knew I would have to convince someone to let me write for them, and I did, and I ended up writing for tons of cartoons like Paddington Bear and Rainbow Fish and Rescue Heroes and all sorts of things. And what that did is it gave me the background and the credibility to say, well, I know how to write. So when I walked up to a producer or a broadcaster with an original idea for a series, they don't look at you like, well, what have you done?
Right.
And what do you know? Because that's the reality. Yeah. Sad to say, that's the way it works. So that was my plan, is I went from voicing to, I think I can write this stuff. I ended up writing many scripts, and then it segued into creating shows. And that's how... That's the history of how I got to be a creator of shows. But in fact, it was a really, really long way to get essentially where I wanted to be when I was making my little films.
Right.
So
what was the first show then that you had some sort of success with? Was it Yvonne of the Yukon? Is that
yeah.
And that you said you were a co-creator on that with Terry Clausen.
Yep.
And so you guys, sat down, said, hey, we've got this idea for a show. It's about this, French-Canadian dude, whatever it was.
Yep.
That's basically how it happened. You sat down, you
Pretty much, yeah. Terry hatched an idea. I was at the Banff Television Festival, and I was talking to this producer from Iceland who had set up a new company in Ireland. I think he was only allowed in countries that started with I
and ended in land.
Yes, exactly.
He was a landed immigrant.
He could not go to India, sadly, because unless we call it India land. So anyway, as the story goes, he was interested in something. He wanted something really Canadian, you know. So I phoned Terry and said, "Hey, I got this guy, and you know he doesn't like any of the stuff we have so far." So Terry went to work, and I kept, you know, holding his hand and trying to figure out if we could make some sort of deal. Anyway, ultimately, we didn't do it with this guy. I came back, and we you know, worked the rest of the bugs out of the idea and got it polished and got it, you know, presentable. And long story short, we started talking with Studio B, which was right here in Vancouver, and they were still fairly young in their history. And very hungry and wanted to, you know, do something of their own. They had done tons of animation for other companies as sort of a service provider.
Right.
And that was pretty much their first solo,
like
on the air.
Kind of...
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
If it wasn't the very first, it was amongst the first. I'm quite sure it was the first one that they owned
and also
outright.
at the time, it was also what shows like the minor league.
That was after, yeah. That was just
after,
a little after that.
Right. Because I know that Yvonne of the Yukon was happening just kind of as I got to town.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that was one of the first shows that I'd heard about, but I wasn't really in the gang yet.
Right.
So you had some success with that, and then how did Being Ian come about? Because this is a show which is essentially modeled after your own childhood, right?
Yeah.
And what's the basic premise? 30 words or less. What's the premise of the show for our American friends who may not have seen it?
Premise of the show is a young filmmaker with a vivid imagination who lives in a very unusual family circumstance because they all work in a piano store. And it is set unabashedly in the town of beautiful, sunny Burnaby, British Columbia, which is the one and only show ever created that is set in Burnaby. Thank you.
I was doing an audition for one of your shows on Friday.
Yes.
And one of the descriptions of one of the sort of incidental characters that they had come in for that episode was sort of a Danny DeVito-like character.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in, and because it said Danny DeVito, right away I started doing this. And Terry, who was directing the episode, said, no, it's got to be Canadian. And you never hear it's okay to say about.
Yep, I know.
This is so. For that alone, I want to thank you.
Well,
we get to be Canadians in the show.
You're welcome. I just hope it doesn't hinder our sales into the States because it's not going so well. But it is a really funny show. Kids and adults can enjoy it. I'm quite confident in saying that because I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And for our American friends, go to beingian.com. Like, just spell it out, BEINGIAN.com, and you will get a taste of what the show is all about. It's an irreverent, within the boundaries of a kids show, funny, really kind of I'm very happy with it. It's a great show, and it has a ton of movie references in it. That's
right.
the whole.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes it quite different than other shows.
Now, Richard Cox plays Ian.
We like to call him Dick Cox.
Who, of course, in anime world is Inuyasha.
Yes, see, that's like huge, isn't it?
Huge one, yeah.
Because when we cast him, that was one of the first things we got back from the network was, is he Inuyasha? And I went, I don't know. Let's ask him.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
So how is it? Did you ever have it in your head to play Ian? Is that?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You wanted to play Ian.
Yeah. That's why I hate Dick Cox so much.
But nobody else in town could have done the oddball action.
No,
which lovely.
The reality is this: at the time that I was that was going into production, I was starring in another animated show called What's with Andy.
Right. And
I am Andy Larkin, and essentially the voice would have been the same because he's a young guy. Andy Larkin might be a couple of years older than Ian, but it was the same demographic, the same audience that we would be going for, and on two different channels, the kids would be going, "Wait a minute, that's Andy."
Right.
So it was a non-starter.
Right.
And then the reality is, I wanted to be as much as I like being a cast member, I needed to be on the other side of the glass.
Right.
So that I wasn't, trying to wave down people going, hang on, I want to try it another way.
Yeah,
because when you're on that side, you can just, give your input as it happens.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make any sense. So in the end, it's probably better because I get to pick up the scraps. I get nice little funny characters.
Yes.
And whenever there's incidentals coming along, sorry to you and guys,
That's okay. I've been on the show. I actually, being in has been very good to me. I played a couple of characters on the show who showed up in several episodes, so I can't complain.
Well, and
Mark.
I will take a little bit of credit for the way we do things over there in Ian Land. Although it wasn't, I think I talked to you about this last
at the
week.
audition, yeah.
But it's, my feeling is, I know the vast majority of people in the business here.
Yeah.
And I would really rather just pick someone
right.
to come in and be a character.
And why not? There's all of 30 cartoon actors in town?
Yeah. So, it's pretty, and it's, I wouldn't take that approach, for casting something from the beginning.
Right.
When you're looking for the main characters. I mean, you want to cast a wide net and see if there's anyone new. I mean, you know what it was like when it was coming in new. And you make your mark, and that's the only way you can make your mark, is if people are willing to see new people.
Exactly. Give you a chance, yeah.
I am a huge advocate for finding new talent, but once a production is in the midst of being produced, for expediency and friendliness, I'd rather just go, well, just get Trevor or, get Gary or whoever it's going to be.
Could you be a little more expedient in the future?
Get Trevor, just get Trevor. Oh, Trevor can do that. I'm sure Trevor would be good. Is that good enough for you, Mr. Devall?
Yeah, I like the sound of that. That'll work nice.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. If you had any advice to give out to someone who is out there who maybe wants to make a show, they've been writing a cartoon, they have this idea.
No, don't.
Yeah.
No,
okay. Yeah. This is an important thing. It's an important part of the show. Normally we talk about advice from voice actors to budding voice actors, but I'd like to get advice from you about maybe someone out there who is trying to get a show off the ground. They have an idea for a show, maybe they've written a series Bible, whatever, and they don't know what step to take next. What could you say from your experiences?
Well, the whole business, and it's the same for voice acting or trying to get a show on the air or trying to sell a book or trying to make a record or whatever. All of these businesses are populated with gatekeepers. And by that, I mean people that answer the phone or keep the gate
for Zool,
for whoever they need to keep you away from.
Right.
So know that going into it and think, okay, if I was a gatekeeper, how would I want to be approached? So you need to be tenacious, you need to be polite, you need to find out who you're talking to, because there's nothing worse, and I see this an awful lot, where someone knows someone who knows someone who knows someone, and they're not really in a position to help you. So you're going to expend a whole lot of energy, and maybe it's just for an example. I know someone at Disney, and you get very excited because it's someone at Disney. Wow. And then it turns out that he's maybe worked in animation at some level, or he was an audio engineer, or he's just the wrong guy to be talking to. And it doesn't mean that he's, not important and not good at his job or anything, but, you need to do your research to find out who you need to get it to as high up the food chain as possible.
Right.
Now, that's not much advice, but I'm just sort of giving a reality check, because it means that you've got to go hunting and scouring the net and industry trade journals and all sorts of things for names of people who you can see are decision makers, and then try to find ways to get to them. Now, if you don't live in a major center like Los Angeles, it's difficult.
Right.
In Canada, we have there's some pretty good things that you can take advantage of. If you live in Vancouver, I mean, you'd want to look at the major production companies here: Bardell, Studio B,
even Nerdcore now.
Nerdcore is fantastic. Ace, the guy who heads that up and runs it, is just one of the best guys I know.
Yeah,
he's a fantastic guy. Atomic Cartoons here in Vancouver. But what you want to do is see if you can meet with a lot of these companies now have, development people. So that's who you're going to want to talk to.
Right.
Or if there is some way that you happen to know someone who is even higher up the food chain, then, go for that. I absolutely, completely believe that's the way to go, because you need to get it past them anyway.
And what is
right?
that? Is that a matter of just sending them a letter with a 30-word pitch, or how would that work? How would that happen?
If you don't know them, it's going to immediately go to a development person.
Right.
And yeah, keep it brief. Send a little sample, a little something that's the hook of your show, whether it's a drawing of something visual, a recording, something that will separate you from the rest. And that's the key to absolutely everything is don't do what everyone else is doing.
Right.
Period.
That's true in this. It's true in real estate. It's true in a lot of things.
Everything.
The stock markets.
Everything. And my dad taught me when I was quite young, if everyone's zigging, use ag.
Zag, yeah.
And it's really true. It pays off in almost every aspect of life. And tenacity is really important. Like, you just got to stick to it and keep grinding away.
Right. Cool. Well, that's good advice. I'm going to go out and pitch my show right away, and I'm going to say that Ian Corlett was the guy who told me to talk to you, Mr. Ace Fipke at Nerdcore.
Yeah, I'm going to refuse that. I don't even know you. Who are you? Why am I sitting here? I'm here to do the floors. There's a lot of flooring here that I have to install.
All right, let's see what's in the mailbag.
Martin's mailbag.
Why is there a
because
sheep?
That's what we do here on Voiceprint. Don't ask any questions, Corlett. You're already on thin ice as it is.
This is a dirty, dirty place.
Martin, first of all, I want to thank you so much for sending us VAs the.
Now, who's Martin?
Martin Sue in Toronto. He works for YTV. He's one of the program director kind of guys there. And
hello, Martin.
There he is.
I love you. In a way that only a voice acting man can love another man from YTV in Toronto.
Exactly. But he's been very good, and every time we have a show, he sends in all kinds of stuff about what's happening on the show.
That's really neat.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And he sent me, and Mike Dobson as well, action figures from Crypto the Super Dog. Speaking action figures that we had done. So that was something. And everybody's got their toy now. In fact, I just gave the last one to Mark Oliver this morning. So thank you so much, Martin. That was really cool of you. So what's he got to say in the mailbag this time? First of all, here is where you can hear Ian Corlett on TV right now on YTV as Oddbald on Being Ian, which is on at Sundays at 10:30 a.m. and Mondays to Fridays at 3 p.m. and 5 a.m. On Teletoon, Johnny's Dad of Johnny Test. That's on at Saturdays at 11 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. and Sundays at 8 a.m., 2 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. He's got a partial listing of Ian Corlett's voice roles that have made it to television in his neck of the woods. First Goku and Master Roshi of Dragon Ball Z, Cheetor of Beasties and Beast Machines, Andy of What's With Andy, Oddbald of Being Ian, and he also points out, isn't it a strange coincidence that Richard Cox's middle name is Ian?
Yes.
Very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Tofu of Ranma 1/2, Johnny's Dad of Johnny Test, Ian was the Glitch Bob on Reboot, as we mentioned. Also, he mentions that there's some irony with his voices of Dr. Wily and Mega Man. One was from Captain N the Game Master, and the other from the Mega Man series. So Ian played opposite characters, but from different series.
Yes.
So that was kind of cool as well. And where can you hear the rest of our Vancouver voice actors on television right now? On Teletoon, George of the Jungle, Class of the Titans, Johnny Test, and Mega Man NT Warrior are all airing on that station, as well on YTV. We have Team Galaxy, Captain Flamingo, Being Ian, Gundam Seed Destiny, Death Note, Transformers Animated, which is David Kay's show, Shadow Raiders, Fantastic Four, and Stormhawks. We are getting closer and closer to the end of Gundam Seed Destiny. Neo's mask has already been removed a couple of episodes ago. On Death Note, Misa Amane has already made her debut, but if you look at the first 2 Death Note DVDs, you will see interview footage with Brad and Alessandro, and I don't want to give a spoiler here, but I do one of the interviews on the next set of DVDs, so keep your eyes out for that one.
Death Note.
Death Note.
Is that some sort of slash metal band you're in?
You'd think, but actually that's a huge fan favorite show. It's
man, I need to get out more. I need to leave the compound.
Let's move on to our fan questions.
I'd love
shall we? The first one is from the ever-popular Melissa. Hello, Mr. Corlett. It's nice to meet you, sort of. Being a longtime fan, she grew up on Beast Wars, and of course Cheetor was her favorite. My question is, out of these 3 characters that you have voiced, Goku, Cheetor, and Glitch Bob, which one was the most challenging to play? And also, if you could become one of those characters, which would you become, and why?
Goku was the most difficult because you had to yell a lot. That's easy. If I was to become one of those characters, that's a good one. I would have to say, Cheetor.
Why?
Because he didn't get killed.
It's always about the bottom line with you.
Although it was tempting to choose Glitch Bob because I really would like to be inside a computer. I love Tron. I thought it was still one of my favorite movies.
Actually, yeah, it is.
It was really good. And speaking of early CG,
Tron.
That was it.
That's right.
That was it.
That's right.
And I am a huge Disney trivia fan.
Really?
Like way before I started, voicing animation stuff. Anyway, so there's my answer for that. I think I'd like to be Cheetor because he's alive as far as we know, and he got to do a lot of cool stuff.
Awesome. Moving on, this is from Evan. He says, "Hi, Trevor. It's great to have Voiceprint back after his long break, and I hope that you will have more voice actors and more success in future episodes." Well, thank you. We are certainly planning for both more voice actors and more success.
I thought you were stopping after me. You told me in the break.
I tell that to all the boys.
You said we're stopping after this because you are the best guest ever. And if you... Is that not what you said?
It's exactly what I said. And,
but you lie.
I do lie.
Wow.
But hey, I lie to all my guests, so we're all like one family here.
Okay, anyway, what does Evan
You've
have?
all been lied to by Daddy.
I want to spend time with Evan now, because I'm tired of you.
Evan says, my questions are, 1, if you had $1 million, what would be the first thing you would do? And 2, do you think that voice actors get more recognition than sound engineers and voice directors? Thanks, Evan.
Wow. Okay. If I had $1 million plunked in my lap, I would give 10% of it away to something that was really good, and I don't know what that would be, honestly.
Something good, like some charity thing.
Yep. Because I really think there's something to that.
Right. Like the Voiceprint Foundation. It's a great charity.
Is there really a foundation? Don't tell me lies again. What? I wish he had one of those real Pinocchio noses when you could tell, because it'd be poking me in the eye. We're like 10 feet apart. He's such a liar. Anyway, I would definitely do that first. And, just to be practical, I would make sure that, whatever is remaining on my mortgage is gone. And sadly, $1 million is just not much now.
And not for you, at any rate.
Well, stop that. No. That's not true.
The real question,
all.
Evan, is what does he do with his many millions of dollars?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Yeah, that would be great. I wish. I really wish. I'll tell you this. If, in the spirit of your question, I think the spirit of your question is, if you had a ton of money, what would you really like to do? And I have to admit, there would be a chunk after I did pragmatic things that I would blow on cars.
Yeah, you're a big car, like you're a Porsche man.
Yeah,
you like the Porsches.
I would love, if I had like unlimited funds, I would want to own a race team and be involved in racing.
Wow.
Like
Cool.
driving.
Cool.
So there you go.
All right. And do you think that voice actors get more recognition than sound engineers and voice directors?
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
We're in the limelight.
Unquestionably.
Which is sad for them, but, you know,
Well,
they
hey,
chose their fate.
Exactly. I mean, you know.
All right. This is from Daniela. First, yes, I'm totally sucking up by saying this, but being Ian is brilliant,
Thank
and
you.
I love it with all my pirate heart.
What?
Oh, with all me pirate heart. I see she was writing in phonetic pirate there, and I didn't see it. Let me try that again. And I love it with all me pirate heart.
Well, she would have loved the sea shanty earlier.
Well, maybe she did. Maybe she did. Seriously, she says, I miss school for that show all the freaking time.
So I like that.
So well done. You're contributing
really
to the
like
generation of our youth.
Perfect.
Well done.
Thank you.
This is a question for both of you, she says. What is your greatest phobia? What is your greatest phobia? And she also has a PS to this question. Are the rumors about the Death Note cast coming to Anime North this year true? If you're not allowed to talk about it, I understand. I'll just cut myself until it is true. I'm not sure about that. I haven't been invited to Anime North, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe some other more important members of Death Note are going to be there. I don't know. But anyway, on to your question about the phobias.
Where's Anime North? What's that?
Anime North is in Toronto.
Well, that's the Toronto one.
Toronto.
Greatest
phobia.
I got a good one. I don't like birds.
Whoa, birds.
Birds, yeah.
Like any birds.
I'm not a big fan. No. I don't like when they fly around me. If I walk around my park every day, and there's two things. Birds in general, I just don't like them. I think that they were designed with really pointy, sharp things that can be used for ill. And I have friends that have been attacked by crows because they're very territorial.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, you know, it's the thing I hate and the thing I like about crows is they're very smart. So if you were the type to have a slingshot, and if they were bothering you outside your window that faced a park, and you shot at them and beamed a couple of them, they remember and they go, I think I'm going to move. So they're smart, and I like that. But they're smart, and I don't like that because
they remember.
They will follow you. I've walked around the park where they follow.
Yeah.
And hey, and I'm looking up going, I don't like this. But it's not just crows. It's not a crow thing.
You know, the worst is starlings. Starlings are the worst.
Yeah.
They dive bomb for no reason.
Yeah. There's a reason why they have pointy beaks and sharp claws. They're descendants of dinosaurs or something.
Right.
They're rotten little things. Yeah. Anyway, so I really don't like birds. And I will rest my case on this. If you ever go to the beach, and I witnessed this once, I saw a seagull going after a crab who ended up sadly he was trying to get away, and the seagull just flipped him on his back and went to town.
Murdered him.
And you think they wouldn't do that to you if they had half a chance with those pointy beaks?
That's true.
Anyway, I don't like birds.
Now, phobias are irrational fears.
Yeah. And
I have an irrational fear of people who don't like birds. Danielle also has another question here. This is from a friend of hers named Eliza. She currently doesn't have internet access, so she asked me if I could send her question.
Eliza Doolittle.
Eliza Type Little. Was Cheetor gay, in your opinion, is the question. Yes, she's serious. Good luck with that one.
Well, that is really uncomfortable because he was gay.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe he wasn't, but Gary Chalk, who I stood next to, always wanted to make him. Or actually, no, that was me. He's a big man. A big, powerful man that can overpower a smaller gentleman like me.
So really, the question here isn't so much about you and Cheetor as it is about Gary Chuck.
It's always about Gary. It's always about Gary. I think I would wager to say that everyone you've ever interviewed talks about Gary.
Without question. His name is probably the most often uttered.
Gary, I want to be in the interview. He puts out, it's like the law of attraction. He puts out vibes, and then everyone must talk about Gary.
That's right.
Hey, bring me up, bring me up, bring me up, bring me up, bring me up. He doesn't even care if it's derogatory. He could care less. Hey, I was on the interview. Yeah, 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 yeah. I got another one. Got another one. Hey, pull my finger.
That's how you hear him in your head, eh?
Yeah. That's it.
That's the voice of Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. But you know, every other voice actor right now is laughing their guts out.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is Gary. Anyway.
Jonathan from my hometown of Edmonton.
Hey, man.
He says...
Go Oilers.
Go Oilers. Go Oil. He's got a question for both of us. What is the most interesting place you've ever visited in your life?
Oh, interesting place.
Interesting place. The most interesting place.
Oh, that's tough.
Are you a big world traveler?
Yeah, I love to travel, but since we've had kids, we've had to sort of curtail that.
Right.
I have to say, interesting place.
For me, it's hands down Vegreville, Alberta, with the big egg.
Really?
No.
Oh, lying again. More lies. That's a really hard one. I'm gonna have to go with the Isle of Man. Which is where my family name is from.
Yes. And where you are the most famous.
No. I know. Just on one particular website that makes bad coat of arms. But it is, you know, by the definition of your question, it is the most interesting place to me because there is family heritage there, and it's a strange thing when you know that this is really where everyone came from,
right?
You know, and that's
the origin of your particular species.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Even though, I mean, to be realistic about it, we're so watered down. I mean, that was my grandfather, but it's the family name,
right?
And that seems to be the strongest thread. So it doesn't matter if there's, you know, a German thrown in there and a Slavic or whatever else. No, the family name is what it is, and I feel a connection to it. It would be somewhere between the Isle of Man and honestly, like when I'm in a movie studio, like a real movie studio in Hollywood, it's interesting. But that doesn't mean that it's like my most favorite place that I visited.
Right, it's most
interesting.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Question. For me, that's a tough one, but boy, if I had to pick one, it would be Vegreville, Alberta. Okay. One more.
I don't know why you people listen.
I know.
He makes. I think he's mocking you.
No.
What if you lived there? What if your fan base?
Hey, now, if there's any fans out there from Vegreville,
yeah.
I want you to email me at once.
Yeah.
And tell me hello from the most interesting place in the world.
Okay.
Say hello from the base of the egg. That's what I want to hear.
Take pictures. Take pictures and send them.
Send them in. They're going up on the website. This is from Spud in Oakville, Ontario.
Hey, Spud.
If you had a 1-800 number, what would it be?
I think I have one.
You do?
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, though.
Wow.
Now, yeah, I actually have one, but I'm not. I can't tell you because it's kind of it's for business only in industry stuff. So
1-800. I don't know. Is that like? Do you want to hear like something funny? Like 1-800. I need a 1-800 number. 1-800. I don't know what.
Well, the problem is you gotta get the numbers right.
It's gotta be 7 letters?
7, and you know, like
I am cheese. No.
Usually, mine has the top of mind is always something to do with flatulence.
Of course.
You know, like fart me or fart muncher, fart. No, that's
you weren't supposed to give away your number on the air.
That'd be 8,
but you just did.
1-800 fart. Actually, that'd be fart far.
Yes, which
fart
is great.
Far.
Yes,
that's not bad. Okay, 1-800. You can reach me at 1-800 fart far.
Farfar. It's just south of the United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
The Farfar.
Oh, you should see the range on him. Oh, he far. Sorry.
All right, well, we have gone horrifyingly overtime here.
I apologize.
I can say I think we've now officially gone longer than the McNeil episode. So,
Really?
So you may not be the best guest ever, Ian, but you're certainly the longest one.
Thank you. Thank you.
That'll about wrap it up for this episode of Voiceprint. Thank you so much for coming down. It has been great.
It was my pleasure. I all kidding aside, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was not putting you off. I love doing these things, and it was really fun.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming, man. Stay tuned, guys, because our next guest is going to be the lovely, talented, and enigmatic Tabitha St. Germain.
I'm coming back.
That's right, man. That's right. And as a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do that episode in like a cafe or a bar or something
Perfect.
Weird like that. You better tune in for that one. Seriously, it's going to be crazy. She's quite the lady. Thanks a lot, guys. Make sure you tune in for the next episode, which will probably be up in the next few weeks if Tabitha doesn't put me off like some other guests I've had.
So mean.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I am Trevor Devall. This is Voiceprint with Trevor Devall and Guests, and we will see you next time. Take care.